Natalia Bonner. Welcome back. Okay, I'm so excited to be here today and share just a little sneak peek of this awesome quilt. So this is a really fun quilt that my client Teresa made for her grandson and brought it to me for some custom machine quilting. So today I'm going to share just a little bit of my quilting, but if you do want to see a more in-depth process into my machine quilting, see how I mark out this quilt and then walk you through really from start to finish, make sure you do check out the Piece and Quilt Academy. So if you haven't seen the Piece and Quilt Academy before, right now we have over 90 videos where I'm doing just that. I'm sharing kind of my thought process, how I approach a quilt, and then I walk you through my process of machine quilting a quilt. So it's a lot more in depth than what I do share with you here on YouTube. So you can find all the details about the Piece and Quilt Academy over on our website, pieceandquilt.com. But for now, let's hop into this video and let's get stitching. Okay, so here is this adorable quilt that my client made for her grandson, and this is after all of my machine quilting is complete. You can look closely here and see how much fun this quilt was for me. I absolutely loved quilting this. I had a lot of fun bringing kind of the concepts that are over on the right side of the quilt into that negative space on the left side of the quilt, and then really making her applique come to life. So like I said, you can find a more in-depth video sharing my process of quilting all the rest of this quilt over in the Piece and Quilt Academy. But today we're going to focus on just one of the blocks. I am going to be using so fine thread here on my machine. I am going to be using on the top a gray color of thread. That's the color I'm going to use across this whole entire quilt top. Now this quilt has Minky as the backing, and we wanted this quilt to stay nice and soft. Because there is Minky already, it adds a lot of extra bulk. Most often you see in my videos that I like to use the Quilter Stream wool batting or the Quilter Stream Poly Deluxe. Those are my two favorite battings. But with this quilt, to keep it a little bit lighter and a little bit softer, I am actually using a blend batting. So this is the Quilter Stream Blend, and it's a little bit lower loft batting. It works just perfectly with the Minky on this quilt. I still have a lot of texture that comes to life, but I don't feel like it becomes stiff or anything like that. And once this quilt is washed, it will be awesome. Let's get stitching. I'm going to use my 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. It's one of my favorite rulers to use. You can pick it up on our website, pieceandquilt.com. With this design, even though this triangle has 4 sections that are created by the piecing, I'm actually going to break it into 3 sections. So down here on the bottom portion of the block, I'm going to ignore that center seam. Well, not necessarily ignore it, I'm going to stitch to it, but I'm not going to use that as something that divides the block. In this center section on the bottom of the block, I'm going to quilt echo lines. So I'll start out by stitching in the ditch, and then from there, I'll line up that first marked line on my 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler and just work my way through that triangle, stitching those evenly spaced lines. Now, because the ruler has the markings on it, I didn't have to go through and add any extra markings. So that bottom section is complete. Now I have 2 more sections on this block. I'm going to repeat that same process and add echo lines. So after I have stitched along my ditch, I'm going to now fill in that next triangle. Really, I'm creating more triangles inside of my triangle. I'm going to fill in that next triangle again with those echo lines. Now, I love keeping my machine quilting a little bit more on the simplistic side, even though I do really heavy quilting, really detailed quilting. One way I keep things simple is by working with just one thread color. Like you can see here, I'm using the gray so fine thread, and even though I'm working on red, it gives me an awesome result. So here you can see the block after all of my machine quilting is complete. I love how this block turned out. I hope you all found just a little bit of inspiration from this fun little clip of my machine quilting. Check out more of my quilting in the Piece and Quilt Academy on our website, pieceandquilt.com. Have a great day, everybody.